And you say that this stuff, this hexavalent chromium, well, it's poisonous.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, it's just got to be different than what's in our water, cause ours is okay. The guys from PG&E told me. They sat right in the kitchen and told me that it was fine.
I know, but the toxicologist that I've been talking to, he gave me a list of problems that can come from hexavalent chromium exposure. Everything you all have is on that list.
No, that's not what our doctor said. He said that, well, that one's got absolutely nothing to do with the other.
Right. But PG&E paid for that, doctor.
Ashley! Jana! You're at the pool! I said so, that's why!
That clip was from the movie Erin Brockovich. It's about a real-life issue of a chemical carcinogen called hexavalent chromium, or chromium-6 because of its +6 oxidation state. So what does a movie from the early 2000s about a town in California have to do with us in Chicago? Well, a steel production company in Indiana was recently found dumping chromium-6 into a channel that leads right into Lake Michigan, as well as nearby aquifers that are used for potable drinking water. But we'll get back to that in a little bit. First, we need to understand exactly what chromium-6 is and why it's bad for us.
Chromium-6 is a heavy metal and a carcinogen. It's rarely found in nature. Instead, it's created by various industrial processes. There are reports that chromium-6 is in the drinking water of hundreds of millions of Americans. However, health authorities don't know exactly what level of chromium-6 might pose health problems. They do know that when they put chromium in the drinking water of rats and mice, that level of chromium caused cancer. Scientists who study chromium-6 say they're concerned about even very low levels of exposure to chromium-6 when it's a child or an infant or a developing fetus.
It's still not 100% understood why chromium-6 is bad for humans, but scientists have an idea. The naturally occurring form of chromium, chromium-3, is not inherently dangerous to humans. In fact, our bodies are capable of performing an oxidation and reduction reaction to reduce chromium-6 to chromium-3 internally. However, a nasty DNA-altering hydroxide ion, or OH-, is produced in this reduction process. These harmful compounds are also known as free radicals. Free radicals wreak havoc on our DNA and also begin the process of aggressive forms of cancer and other deadly illnesses. So, about that steel company just over the border in Indiana.
U.S. Steel is a metal production and fabrication company in the heart of Gary, Indiana. In November of 2017, U.S. Steel reported roughly 300 pounds of chromium-6 had leaked out of a rusted pipe into a water canal, which is connected to local aquifers and also leads directly into Lake Michigan. But third-party chemical analysis by the EPA scientifically concluded that closer to 900 pounds of chromium-6 had leaked out. This caused chromium-6 levels as high as 0.22 parts per billion to be measured at the 68th Street Drinking Water Refinery inlet. That is 11 times higher than the safe allowed amount determined by the EPA. U.S. Steel is heavily closed off and almost impossible to photograph or gain access to. Luckily, we were able to interview a couple at a park just across from the plant entrance. To protect their identity, the names are not given. The man is actually a sub-manager at U.S. Steel, and the woman is a registered nurse at the hospital downtown. Here's what they had to say about their experience with chromium-6.
When you see the number of young people, teenagers, we're not just talking about older geriatrics, but anywhere from 10 to 18 years old with respiratory disorders, more of them in the oncology ward due to living.
So not just COPD, like actually.
Yeah, COPD, asthma, chronic bronchitis, different cancers. So I see it every single day. And I'm like, it's definitely related to, I had a teacher. I had a nursing instructor who actually moved to Arizona because her COPD acts better in Arizona than it does here.
If something does happen, sometimes you do have exceedances, you got to report to the state, IDEM, we talk to IDEM a lot.
Okay.
But I don't think that conversation goes too much more to anyone else outside of that, that circle. So we talk to IDEM, corrective actions are made, things are put in place to make sure that we don't want to make sure that it lessens it. Our goal is to make sure that these things never happen again. And those should be conversations that are shared not just with IDEM but with your entire community.
Yeah,
and
people
anybody
there,
else who has a question. Hey, I seen XYZ, and they don't care about us over there. And it's just, like I say, it's those lines of communication. I have no idea how to mend that. But it's something I think that would help, as a start. Like you said, third party.
Yeah.
IDEM should be considered a third party, but IDEM is more so. They got their hand in every other thing that's going on.
Yeah, too much to
you got the whole,
Hexavalent chromium has been known to eradicate a woman's reproductive system.
Yeah.
It's been known
It seems like it's bad for everything.
Yeah, it's everything. It literally dead stops a child in puberty stage. It eats away at the brain faster than Alzheimer's or dementia.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, it does. When you think about mercury in certain levels in people's water sources, and then you trace it back to Alzheimer's and dementia. That's my thing. I do psych, and I do geriatric psych. And we got a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia patients.
Interesting.
And ta-da-da, guess what? Steel worker right on their list of things.
So what can be done about hexavalent chromium? Well, there are multiple remediation methods already in place, and there's some new ones under development right now. But the main goal of remediation is to reduce the chromium-6 to its lower +3 oxidation state before it enters the human body. This is done through the process of a redox reaction, immobilization via precipitation, and other various nanotechnology methods. Also, good old-fashioned physical separation and filtration via activated carbon is being used widely too. Filtration of chromium-6 at home can be costly and impractical sometimes. Ion exchange filtration systems are expensive, large, and also kind of wasteful. Reverse osmosis filtration systems are cheaper, smaller, but don't completely get rid of chromium. They do reduce the amount to very acceptable levels depending on the home's location. But sometimes it's not always about the chemistry. Sometimes corporate accountability comes from community activism. This method is proactive rather than reactive, and the people we interviewed seem to have the same opinion.
What you guys are doing helps spawn another conversation as to, because like I said, you got the hypothesis of what's going on. Now, we can't confirm or deny, but how can we get to that place where we can get to some type of conclusion?
Exactly.
And I think this is the conversation that will stem from the work that you're doing now. Like this initial piece, bringing awareness, to a lot of people who have no idea what it is, how it affects them, why they should be concerned about it, what can they do to get involved, and then how can those voices help make that change to see the difference that you want to see out of your big corporations who are supply your area.
Yeah, exactly.
So
makes a lot of sense.
You guys are doing your final product comes out, it's gonna be, it's gonna start a whole different conversation.
In conclusion, hexavalent chromium is an extremely hazardous chemical carcinogen. It can affect all ranges of the population, and there are many ways to approach remediation, ranging from large-scale corporate chemical solutions to at-home filter systems. But the best solution to the problem is to hold the corporations accountable. Get involved with your community and start asking questions. Together, these types of issues can be solved.